Do you know what today is? It's my planiversary.
And it was just something when you told me coming out like when I heard it sizzling, I'm like, dang. Just a little bit.
Oh, we get to taste it this time.
It's like sizzling, and I'm like, oh, it's smelling good and it's
sounding good.
What? I was like a kid in a candy store and I want to taste it. Yeah. Ooh, that made my...
Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Taja the Creative. So the other day, I realized that today, at the time of recording this video, that I have made it 1 year meat-free, plant-based, and I just wanted to do this video as a point of reflection and also a way to share my journey and provide some insight to others that may be interested in this type of lifestyle. So first I want to go over some frequently asked questions. When I started my plant-based journey, I had lost a good amount of weight already. My highest weight was about 353 pounds. That was about the highest I've seen on the scale. But when I enrolled into my college, my university, and that came with a lot of extra activity and walking across campus and things of that nature, in addition to me joining a gym and trying to do extra things on my own to get back healthier, I naturally lost some weight. I began getting nudges around the beginning of last year, and I had tried to go vegan before, but I just found it to be way too restrictive. It was actually kind of stressful, but I just had been turned off for meat for a while. And for my graduation, my family came. My dad, he grilled a bunch of meat, ribs, chicken, burgers. And I ate on it for a couple of days, and then I was just like, I'm tired of eating meat. So it basically started mainly as a spiritual journey. When I started, I decided that I would keep that in mind as my why, and I wouldn't stray away from that or let anything deter me from staying on my path. So a couple days after they left, it was May 15th, a year today. I decided that I was going to start, no weaning off period. I was just going to start. So I started with a mostly alkaline plant-based fast. Throughout the day, I drank a bunch of water, tea, and I was basically doing intermittent fasting, but it was 1 meal a day. So my one meal would be one large, nutritious meal. Usually we have a couple of servings of fruits and nuts or something of the like. I did that for a while until it became a habit, and I had no desire to go back to eating meat. I lost a lot of waist that week, 10 pounds to be exact. Nothing extra aside of staying hydrated and 1 meal a day. 1 week turned into 2, and so on, and it just stuck. I felt good. I had increased energy, increased mental clarity, and most importantly, I felt a closer connection to source, and I was convicted. I believe this journey, it started my transformation process, and that I received the nudges that I received because it was necessary for me to ascend to the next level spiritually. The only time I feel like it's really a challenge is when it comes to being social. When it comes to social gatherings, you usually have to plan ahead. Like if you're going to eat at somebody's house, they might not always be able to cater to your dietary needs. If you're in the workplace and you have some type of luncheon for the staff or something like that, they may not consider your needs either. So that can be frustrating at times, and you may have to bring your own food. And a lot of people automatically assume just because you don't eat meat, all that you eat is salads and carrots and broccoli all day. And like say if you're eating out, you go to a restaurant, you have to do your due diligence and looking at the menu to see if there's anything that you can eat. I'm not completely vegan. I don't like using that term. And as I said before, I found that to be too restrictive for me to sustain long term. I'm not knocking it. If you are, more power to you. But it was not for me. So I cut out meat completely. I do allow myself to eat seafood occasionally, and I cut out concentrated sources of dairy. I eat pretty much anything I want to eat. So some things I cook are traditional. I just found a way to make it plant-based. There's some recipes that I've created just out of things that I like. I've always heard that you need to eat the rainbow. So I try to keep that in mind and just incorporate vegetables and fruits that I like to eat. And I just experiment with different recipes. I get my protein the same place that animals get their proteins, from plants. I know that's a common question, especially for meat eaters, but honestly, we don't need as much protein as we've been conditioned to believe that we need. I was born and raised in the South. I was raised on all the good food. Meat was a large part of the diet. So going from that and going to cutting meat completely out of my diet, it forces you to be creative. I've always known that I can cook. It's kind of like a family thing. And I know a lot of people say that, but pretty much everybody in my family can throw down. But removing meat completely from my diet, it forced me to be creative in how I prepare my meals. And I discovered an additional talent that I didn't know I had outside of traditional cooking. Self-discipline is another thing that I've gained from removing meat from my diet. I wouldn't say it's hard, but you have some moments. You have some moments where you really have to dig deep and rely on your inner strength. Just to give you an example, I went home for the holidays this past Christmas, and I was preparing ahead. I was like, Mom, I need you to make this mac and cheese with a plant-based cheese. And instead of chicken, I want some fish. And she, she got the stuff. She was gonna make it. But before I left, I had a essential nudge to fast during that period. Um, so I had in mind I was gonna go home. I was gonna get down, but you know, I had to be obedient. So I came prepared. I had some groceries, some plant-based stuff. I had my fruits, my nuts, and I had to rely on my own strength and be disciplined, not indulging in what we had prepared for Christmas. Self-compassion and patience. So typically in the past, whenever I would try to change my lifestyle, especially as it relates to eating, I would be super hard on myself, and I would just try to go from 0 to 100, be super restrictive, and then be confused as to why I'm not getting results or why I gave up. So balance for me has been key. The way that I eat now is sustainable for me. I don't restrict anything that I want. I pretty much eat whatever I want, but I do it with balance. So it might be a period, especially, us women, hormonal changes. You're going to have times to where your appetite increases. You're going to have times to where you crave certain things. And I don't, beat myself up if I want to go get a Twix or I want some fried fish or something like that. I eat it, but I do have balance in mind. Another thing is being in touch with my body, and that kind of goes to with the hormonal changes and different times in your cycle. Like, I'm more conscious of what's going on, when, how that's affecting my mood and things like that. Not that I wasn't before, but I am way more conscious of it now. Weight control and management, I can lose easier than I was before, when I was eating meat. And I can also maintain without much effort weight loss. So that wasn't my primary focus when starting this journey, but it has been a byproduct, and I have lost 2 thin sizes and 20 plus pounds. I don't know the exact number from the day that I started until now, because I'm not really obsessed with the scale like I used to be. Whenever I would start something new, I would usually weigh every day, every other day. A week would kill me to try to wait that long to weigh. Now it's like I probably haven't weighed in a month. I go by how my clothes fit, how my body feels, my energy, how I look. Better sleep. In the past, I used to always have to have some type of aid to get to sleep and to sleep soundly, whether it was sleeping pills, tea. Now I can go to bed and I don't have any trouble sleeping. Digestion, that's another thing that has improved since I started my journey. I'm more regular, and I go every day. I go every day in the morning, sometimes multiple times a day, but every day like clockwork. And that's a drastic difference than where I was before. It's more of a this might be a little bit TMI, but it's more of a healthier movement. as opposed to like a movement that was forced, or a movement that kind of do a reaction of the food you ate, if that makes sense. I have increased immunity. Another thing that I've learned or realized is that you will be judged by others. I'm the type of person, there's certain things I don't really reveal about myself unless I feel the need, I feel spiritually prompted or nudged to do so, or unless the circumstances require me to share certain information. But you will be judged by others. Anytime you're doing something that goes against the grain or is vastly different from what the majority does, you're going to receive some judgment. You're going to receive projected fear and criticism and things of that nature. Like I don't mind questions. Like we're naturally curious beings, but it's when those questions come from a judgmental type of place. I had people ask me why, and it was just dripping and like dripping like why the fuck you don't eat me? um, and then I've had people that basically try to convince me to start back, or they may say something to the effect of like, "Oh, you're gonna go back because you need protein and stuff like that." So that's just something that comes with it. That's why it's important to know your why, understand your why, and keep your why in mind. And honestly, to increase your likelihood of long-term success, it needs to be something deeper than wanting to see the scale move. Like there had to be a mind shift, a shift of mindset for me to be able to sustain this journey for as long as I have. So that's how it started, as a spiritual journey and obedience, and everything else fell into place. I hope this provided you with some insight, and feel free to leave any additional questions that I did not answer below in the comments. You may also email me, and I hope you enjoy this video.
What's your reaction?
Y'all think y'all can go plant-based?